Now let us see tip 17. Tip 17 says, fix the problem, not the blame. There is a debugging mindset by Edward Bulwer. The easiest person to deceive is oneself. So here, in the debugging case, the programmer should not deceive himself. Turn off your defenses you use each day to protect your ego. So programmer has to turn off his ego to protect himself. Turn out any project pressure. No need of any pressure. Keep it away. Get yourself comfortable. Don't say it can happen, because quite clearly it can and has. So you need not specifically tell it can't happen. It's a part of the game. Don't panic. Don't panic. Try to reproduce it. Get the full and detailed information from bug reporter. If you are lost, try to explain it to someone else. Then you will get more ideas and you can clear it. The bug might be because of third-party tool. If you get panic, you won't be able to understand all those things. But it should not be your first thought. If your small change breaks the system, then it's most likely the small change is responsible for it, no matter how far-fetched it seems to be. See, small changes, if your small change affects somewhere else, then it can be a problem. So that whatever it is, you have to solve it with a cool mind. Select is in tip 19 is select is in broken. Again, this tip is coming in tip 26. We will discuss in detail there. Don't assume it, prove it. You know that your program will work. Then no, don't assume. Just prove it, just show it that it's working. That's all about tip 11 to 20. Now we are moving to the other slide. Tip 21 to 35. Here, tip 21 says, use the power of command shells. You know the command shells. You are all technologists. The shell commands may be obscure or terse, but they are powerful and concise. Shell commands can be combined into script files. You can build sequence of commands to automate things you do often. Mostly automation is done through this. Needs to create a list of all the unique package names explicitly imported by your Java code. The following stores in a file called list. This is the command list for that. So it stores in this list. In deployment pipeline, you are automating a lot of things. Acceptance test, commit, acceptance test, series of tests. All these things you can do using command shells. Tip 22. Use a single editor well. It is better to know one editor very well and use it for all editing tasks. Make sure that the editor you choose is available on all platforms you use. VI editor, so many editors are available. So that master of one editor, use a single editor well. Editor features configurable. All aspects of the editor should be configurable to your preferences, including fonts, colors, window sizes, and keystroke bindings. Then it should be extensible. An editor should not be obsolete just because a new programming language come out. It should be able to integrate with whatever compiler environment you are using. Programmable. You should be able to program the editor to perform complex and multi-step tasks. When you create a new file in a particular language, the editor can supply a template for you. It might include name of the class or module filled in, your name and copyright statements, skeletons for constructs in that language. Another useful feature is auto-indenting. Rather than having indent manually, the editor automatically indents for you at the appropriate time. All those things you can understand. All are very clear. You know it. Tip 23. Always use source control code. Always use source control system. Even you have experience in Git. Git is a source control system where you can configure, you can use it for configuration management, keep track of every change you make in your source code and documentation. With a properly configured source control system, source code control system, you can always go back to a previous version of your software. A good SCCS will let you track changes, answering questions such as who made changes in this line of code, what's the difference between the current version and last week's, how many lines of code did we change in this release, which files get changed most often. So this information is readily available if you use source control system. Whenever if you break somewhere, you can start with your previous work from the source control system. So that are the advantages of this. And software control, code control system will also let you identify releases of your software. Once identified, you will always be able to go back and regenerate the release, independent of changes that may have occurred later. With an SCCS, you can generate branches in the development tree each time you generate a release. You apply bug fixes to code in the branch. Source code control system may keep the files they maintain in a central repository. In GitLab, you might have had this experience. So I need not tell much on this. Just understand, you can experience it. Fix the problem, not the blame. That is a tip 24. Debugging itself is a sensitive, emotional subject for many developers. Debugging is just problem solving and attack it as such. You want to concentrate on fixing the problem, not the blame. There is no point in blaming other programmers or others or system. There is a proverb, bad worker blame the tool. So no need of any blame. Fix the problem, not the blame. It doesn't really matter whether the bug is your fault or someone else. It's still your problem. Before you start debugging, it's important to adopt the right mindset. Then you do it. That's why in the industry there is always a clash between testers and developers. Tip 25. Don't panic. Don't panic. It's easy to get into a panic, especially if you are facing a deadline or have a nervous boss or client breathing down your neck while you are trying to find the cause of the bug. Think about what could be causing the symptoms that you believe indicate a bug. Before you start to look at the bug, make sure that you are working on code that compiled cleanly without warnings. But don't panic. If you got panic, you may not be able to identify the bug. When trying to solve any problem, you need to gather all the relevant data. You may actually need to watch the user who reported the bug in action to get a sufficient level of detail with a cool of mind, presence of mind. Tip 26. Select isn't broken. You will have to eliminate bugs in your code before submitting the bug report. If you changed only one thing and the system stopped working, that one thing was likely to be responsible directly or indirectly for the problem. So even when if your program is not designed well, the coupling and all is strong, then if you change some parameters in one place may affect many other places. That you have to be careful. Bugs for which you had a workaround to get it fixed. You need to have a workaround to get it fixed. Keep a close eye on the schedule when considering an upgrade. You may want to wait until after the next release. See, when you add features or upgrade, you have to see your schedule also. If it's a long process, then don't take it up. That's what here it means. Again, tip 27, don't assume it, prove it. When facing with a surprising failure, you must realize that one or more of your assumption is wrong. Don't gloss over a routine or piece of code involved in the bug because you know it works. Prove it. If the bug is the result of bad data, see if better parameter checking in those routines would have isolated it earlier. It's all self-explanatory. If the bug is the result of someone's wrong assumption, discuss the problem with the whole team. If one person misunderstands, then it's possible many people do. Here also the need of communication. Bridging the communication gap is very essential in any work, any teamwork. Learn a text manipulation language, which for database schema maintenance, a set of Perl scripts took a plain text file containing a database schema definition. Java property access, it is good object-oriented programming style to restrict access to an object's properties, forcing external classes to get and set them via methods. All these things, you have learned object-oriented programming and you know this. Test data generation, we had tens of thousands of record of test data spread over several different files and formats that needed to be knitted together and converted into a form suitable for loading into a relational database. It's clear. Then book writing, just read out because this is all self-explanatory. We didn't want to copy and paste lines of code from the tested programs into the book. That would have meant that the code was duplicated. We would forget, update an example when the corresponding program was changed. C2Object Pascal interface. We developed a short Perl script that parsed the C header files, extracting the definitions of all exported functions and the data structures they used. We then generated object Pascal units with Pascal records for all the C structures and imported procedure definitions for all the C functions. Generating web documentation. We use Perl to wrap the document with standard headers and footers and to transfer them to the website. This is required for this. If you learn a text manipulation language, all these things are possible. Write code that writes code. There are two main types of code generator, passive code generator and active code generator. What is passive code generator? They generate a given output from a set of inputs. Once the result is produced, it becomes a full-fledged source file in the project. It will be edited, compiled and placed under source control just like any other file. Just go fast. I will go fast because this week I will read out, you will understand. Passive code generators have many uses, creating new source files, performing one-off conversions among programming languages, producing lookup tables and other resources that are expensive to compute at runtime. Then active code generators, second code generator. With an active code generator, you can take a single representation of some piece of knowledge and convert it into all the forms your application needs. So that is the code generators. You can't write perfect software. That we have discussed many times. Tip 30. A perfect software doesn't exist. We are constantly interfacing with other people's code, dealing with inputs that may or may not be valid. If there is any doubt, we validate all information we are given. We use assertion to detect bad data. We check for consistency, put constraints on database columns. Pragmatic programmers